Hello, good morning. This is LaQueen battle. I'm just do a brief conversation about Harvard Medical School's decision, Harvard Medical School and Harvard Law School's decision to drop out of the U.S. world rankings um, as of as of their own strike. Right now, they're protesting the U.S. world rankings, world news and rankings inability to properly um, include. To properly diversify rankings for students and their admissions process. So I'm going to briefly talk about that today and reintroduce myself. Hello, my name is LaQueen Battle. I'm a medical assistant. I'm also a published author. My latest work is called Still in the Truth of Slavery. It's available in Barnes& and Nobles. I'm also a student at Harvard Medical School, the HMX program. This past fall 2022 semester, I'm also a worker and contractor for Harvard University. So I'm very happy to be here today. Um, I'm going to go ahead and read you guys a little bit information about the article that was published, and also read you guys information from the Dean of Harvard Medical Schools, George Q. Daley's statement on the school's website, and pretty much let you know right now what is going on. So, as you guys know, if you've been following me all on social media, um, that there is a big Supreme Court case going right now. It's going to be later on this year, probably about April, May, June sometime. The Supreme Court is the United States Supreme Court is going to make a decision on the issue of affirmative action in schools and colleges across the university, not just for students of um, of low socioeconomic background, but also for students of considered on the basis of race. So the case is called the Affirmative Action case, and it's going to be handled this year, 2023, in the United States Supreme Court in Washington, D.C. Pretty much what they're stating is that you cannot use race as a factor in college admissions all throughout in any college or university, and probably will be including programs like charter schools and post and primary secondary schools across the United States. So soon, hopefully, that this Supreme Court case will not have a trigger back effect on schools education throughout the United States and eventually the world, because Harvard is one of the oldest institutions in the world, founded in 1636, 15, the, the 13 original colonies, Massachusetts Bay Colony, founder John Harvard gave his library to establish the presidents of Harvard University, make it one of um, the best educational institutions, one of the best, not the best. And so right now that this is very instrumental Supreme Court case. Um, Harvard is not the best institution. It's one of the top well known, the most expensive, the well educated. You have over 10 U.S. presidents have come from this institution. You have congressmen, you have assemblymen, you have local city council people, you have businessmen, you have billionaires, you have people from all across the world. You have kings and queens and people from all across the world that use this as a foundational stone to help them with their education. And so when at Harvard, when a decision made in an institution like this happens, it usually spreads and through the network, it usually has a piggyback effect on on schools, on businesses, on government, on policies made around the world. So it's not just the name of Harvard; it's actually the alumni network. It's actually the networks that happen within within this industry, within this corporation. So it's more than just a school. It's actually, what President Biden was saying in his tweet last night, a corporation. So um, that's kind of what the issue is going right now. So President George Q. Daley made a statement last night on Harvard Medical School's website, and it's Harvard's been in business for a long time. So you have to excuse me if you can disagree with some of my statements or not. You can or you cannot, but it's really up to you how you want to make your decision about this opinion. So here is Dean George Q. Daley um, professor, PhD, and doctor of the Harvard Medical School, Dean George Hugh Daley here, and he made a statement last night. So you have to agree with me here. He pretty much said, let me see. If you go to Harvard Medical School's website here, okay,
I'm right there. I'll be right up.
just bear with me, guys. Okay, it says Harvard Medical School withdraws from the U.S. News and World Rankings report right here. Harvard Medical School, as well as Harvard Law School, which is one of some of the top programs, not just here at this school, but across the world. Okay, President Obama graduated from Harvard Law. Um, Michelle Obama graduated from Harvard Law. You have President Bush. You have a lot of other one of our world leaders have graduated from Harvard Law, as well as from Harvard Medical School too. George Farmer of the co- great AIDS research. So Harvard Medical School just withdrawn from the U.S. World News and Rankings. And I'm very much surprised by this too. It says, Dean announces decision in letter to the campus community. He says here, I'll try to make this quick. I have contemplated this decision since becoming dean 6 years ago. The courageous and bold moves by my respected colleague, John Manning of Harvard Law, and those of peer law schools compel me to act on behalf of Harvard Law Medical School. I recognize that prospective applicants have legitimate interest in evaluating attributes of our school. I also value transparency and accountability, which is why Harvard Medical School will continue to publicly share key information on our admissions websites. Comparable details for all U.S. medical schools, including Harvard Medical School, are available in their raw, unweighted form via the Medical School Admissions Requirements Reports for applicants and advisors, part of the Association of American Medical Schools website. We trust these resources will prove valuable for students as they make thoughtful and meaningful decisions about which medical school is best for them. So, this is the medical school, Dean of Medical Schools here. So, a little bit earlier in the statement, he says, I just gave you the end of it. He says, and earlier in the essay, earlier in the statement, he says, educational leaders have long criticized the methodology used by U.S. News World Rankings to assess and rate medical schools. However, my concerns and the perspectives I have heard from others are more philosophical than methodological and rest on the principal belief that rankings cannot meaningfully reflect the high aspirations for educational excellence, graduate preparedness, and compassionate and equitable patient care that we strive to foster in our medical education programs. As unintended consequences, rankings create perverse incentives for institutions to report misleading or inaccurate data, set policies to boost rankings rather than nobler objectives, or divert financial aid from students with financial need to high scoring students with means in order to maximize ranking criteria. Ultimately, the suitability of any particular medical school for any given student is too complex, nuanced, and individualized to be served by a rigid ranked list, no matter the methodology. So he doesn't consider he doesn't abide by U.S. rankings, world news and rankings. Okay, so let me just tell you a little bit about myself. My name is LaQueen Battle. I'm from Fort Worth, Texas. I graduated high school in 2.5, 3 years with a 3.5 GPA. I was executive officer my JRTC program in Fort Worth, Texas. I've been in politics. I've been in government since I was in middle school and high school. I volunteered. I worked with my local city government since I was in middle and high school. I've been a elementary, middle, and high school athlete. Um, and I'm pretty much always actively involved. And so when I was younger, about 15, 20 years ago in Texas, in the state of Texas, which of course you guys know, the law that was enacted by President Bush, No Child Left Behind Act, okay, the U.S. World News and Rankings um, periodical, the journal that came out every single year, every single fall and spring semester, helped me to observe which schools across the United States were best for me to apply to look at and say, hey, this is the best school I should go to, or hey, this school is the less expensive, or hey, this school has a really good program that I could, or really good program that I can be in. This school is great. This school has the best scholarships. This school has the lowest tuition. This school has is a public school. This school is a private school. And so the U.S. World News and Rankings helped me prepare myself for community college, for a public, for a private school, for whatever schools are available. And you know that these rankings are not just of colleges and universities. They even go down into private primary and secondary schools too as well in every single state in the United States. So these rankings are very important, not just for adults and families, but also for young people to say, hey, we need to know what's going on and we need to know how to prepare our future so that we can be able to know, okay, I'm about to graduate. What do I need to do to help myself and help my family and look to see what is the options that are out there for me? Especially if I come from an immigrant background and I have a language barrier. I don't have any money, financial aid to go to school because I'm an immigrant, so I have to pay everything out of pocket. There are programs like DACA out there, but I don't qualify for DACA. There's so many barriers in the way. If I have a green card, I still can't get financial aid. So, what kind of schools are available out there for me to know? Um, hey, I need to know what schools I qualify for. So every single year, the U.S. World News and Rankings comes out, and it has a monitoring report. It goes by on the stats that are out there to say that these schools are best qualified and suited for progress and helping students to prepare, make better decisions. And so these journals and academic journals have been around for a long, long time, okay? And they're based on statistics. And sometimes, like the dean of Harvard Medical School is saying, he's saying that some schools do not give accurate results. They fabricate the stats in order to boost up their funding, their school alumni funding, or to boost up rankings to help bring more money to the school or help bring more college athletes to the school, and which has happened and a lot of the college admission scandals with celebrities trying to buy their way into schools like Harvard or to Duke or to Princeton or Yale or whatever, they're trying to buy their way into schools like these based on a ranking that the school received from these reports, which is actually partially accurate and sometimes not partially accurate because a lot of these students come from backgrounds where all they have is their their athlete status. All they have is their immigrant status, and they're top highly educated. They're one of the top 5-10% of their class. Their class of 100 students, of 1,000 students, uh, 500 students, and they come from a public school in an urban area, or they come from a public school in a rural area, and they get these reports from New York, or they get these magazines from Los Angeles or from London, and these magazines say, "Hey, here are the best schools to go to. You should apply to these schools, not just based on their ratings, based on the name of the school, but you should go to these schools because they have low tuition, or you should go to these schools because they have a great program, or you should go to these schools because these schools offer the best scholarships for somebody of your background, especially if you come from a background of diversity, or if you come from a background of a language barrier background. These schools have helped you with providing you with the best scholarships. And that's why, especially during the early 1990s, have to hurry up because I have an appointment to go to. The U.S. World News and Rankings during the mid to late 90s helped establish big foundation scholarships like the Bill and Melinda Gates scholarships. And so these rankings have not just school rankings in their periodicals, but they have rankings from big donors in the front or the back of the newspaper news magazine. They give the schools in the front, and then they have the scholarships in the back. And so you have the school rankings in the front. You look at the school rankings, and then at the back of the magazine, you turn to the scholarships and where you can best apply for a scholarship, which is usually in the back. And so these rankings help students figure out and diversify how do I best apply myself for um, grants, for loans, for things that can I help me, in the city or the region where I live in. And so I partly agree with what the dean of the medical school is saying, and I partly disagree because right now Harvard needs as much help as it needs right now. They've been going through this affirmative action case for the past 10 years. Okay, off and on disagreeing with well, we agree with affirmative action or we disagree with affirmative action. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, or no. But right now, as of 2023, the United States Supreme Court is actually the top nation in the law of the land in Washington, D.C., is actually getting involved in this case and is actually going to make the last and final decision about this case. So it has a lot to do with it. Whether you disagree with the dean statement, I would encourage you to go to your own school dean of your school program that you or your alumni network, whatever school that you've graduated from, even if it's your high school, if you're a high school student, go to your school counselor and talk to them about them. Say, hey, you know what? The media does sometimes help in situations like these. The media sometimes doesn't. Okay. But regardless of that, you still need somebody to review what you're saying and see about what are the facts and how to help myself and my family get better accumulated out of this situation. For somebody like me coming from Texas to Chicago, Southside Chicago, to New York, to Los Angeles, to Florida, all the cities that I've been in, as well as being a veteran, as well as being somebody of low background, as well as being somebody from a big and a small family, okay, as well as being somebody that comes from a single parent household, as well as somebody coming from a foster care system. I need to look at something and say, hey, I need this to help me decide for my future. I need to know what's going on. And so that's why the media is a really good outlet. Sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't. That's why you need rankings like these to help you figure out what is really going on for your future. And one of the best decisions in your future is your education. Okay. Is figuring out how you get your education. Okay. So I think that I disagree with what the dean of the medical school is saying. At the same time, though, there has to be other factors that they need to include in the admissions decision process besides the U.S. World News and Rankings. So I think that's what the dean of the medical school needs to say. There needs to be other factors in inclusion. So do not boycott the U.S. News and World and Rankings. Don't boycott it because students need it, especially during COVID. Okay, because a lot of students are still at home doing at home lessons. They need the U.S. News and World Rankings, so do not boycott it. Okay, don't boycott the media. If you boycott the media, you close yourself out from what is really going on in the world. Okay, so do not boycott it. That's my opinion. Form your own opinion, and you need something to help you say, how do I find scholarships? How do I find grants? How do I find out where the big donors are? How do I figure out what schools have the best lowest tuition? How do I figure out what schools offer the best programs, offer free application waivers, and they go by rankings like that. That's what these journals, newspapers do, news reports do. Okay. So, in my opinion, I would not suggest boycotting the U.S. News World Rankings. Okay, even though I am a student of Harvard. At the same time, I'm also an employee of Harvard. Okay. I still would not agree to boycotting this. Okay. That's my opinion. Okay. Okay, so this is LaQueen battle. I do not agree with it, okay? But you can I would encourage you to voice your own opinion about what is really going on. Talk to your local congressman because this affirmative action is gonna be a really extreme case. It's happening in less than 6 months. It's all over Harvard's website, but they're only doing it in limitations. They need to do something bigger than just on a school website. Okay. So, like I'm saying, I would not suggest in boycotting the U.S. News World Rankings, which is what Harvard Law School and Harvard Medical School is doing right now. Okay. And they're saying that Harvard Medical School is not a part of Harvard University, and that's a lie. Harvard Medical School is well a part of Harvard University. Okay. So, so I disagree with what the dean is saying, and he's my dean. So, because I'm a part of his programs, so I would not disagree with that. But anyway, this is LaQueen Battle for Safe Responder Services, coming live here from Boston from the campus of Harvard University. I know I'm going to get some pushback from this, but I wanted you guys to share this on my social media feed and hopefully get you guys opinions about it. Okay. All right. So God bless you all. Hope you take care and have a great day. Love you. Bye.